We are live. We are live.
Hey,
Mic check 1 2 1 2. I don't know. I can't see if people are here. I don't know if they are. You know what I'm saying? If you're here, please, just check in, say what up. But either way, it's your boy, Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, aka We Live, baby. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could throw in like gifts and stuff now, but so we are just waiting on Simone. She'll hop in when she can hop in. But I'm here with my boy Brandon, and we're just gonna talk
hey,
some football. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a little bit of fun and do what we do, baby. So we'll start off with the NFL 100 list. We'll start off there. I know you have a
bro.
lot of thoughts on that, so I'll let you vent first. I know you have a lot to say.
To be honest, it just baffles me. You don't even need to put like. I know we're Eagle fans and we're biased toward Carson Wentz, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, he deserves to be in the top 100. This is no
Facts.
question about this. There's no way a top. Let's say not even top 10. Let's say if people have him in their top 12. There's no way a top 12 quarterback can't make it on a top 100 list. And then you have players like Josh Allen. Josh Allen, he's a good talent. He has a rocket arm. But if you're comparing stats, I mean, Carson Wentz was ninth in the league in passing yards with
Facts.
4,039 yards with who were his receivers? His top two receivers injured in Alshon and Djax. And then he's throwing to the practice squad guys, and he's throwing for all that. He also had 27 touchdowns, which was fifth in the league, while only
Mhm.
throwing 7 interceptions. So, I mean, those are great stats. And then you got Josh Allen, who's only thrown for 3,089 yards. That's 23rd in the league. He threw for 20 touchdowns, which is 21st in the league, and he threw 9 interceptions. So if you're comparing stats for stats, I mean, I know they got the Bucks to the playoffs. I mean, not the Bucks, the Bills to the playoffs, and that's a cool feat. But if you're comparing stats to stats and top 100 players, Wentz deserves to be on there.
And my thing is, like you said, he deserves to be on there. And I know it's a list of peers, basically opinion. It's not really, I don't think they really, sit down and go over stats. It's their peers' opinion. So, but I feel like it's just hate at this point. Like it has to be. Because if all your boys is telling you, you're like, no, you ain't that good. You ain't top 100. Like, what?
Right.
Like to not
Right.
have Patrick Mahomes, we were talking about this earlier. Not have Patrick Mahomes as number one in the
Yeah,
league,
that's
that makes no sense. That makes
doesn't
no
make
sense.
no sense.
And I understand, Lamar won the MVP or whatever, but he is not the best player. Nevertheless, the quarterback, he's not the best
Right.
quarterback in the league yet. Maybe he gets better, and he has a higher roof, possibly than Mahomes. Maybe you could make an argument for that,
Right.
but he was not the best player last year. That whole list just makes no sense to me. Like you said, Carson Wentz should have been on it. Lane should have been on it, and they also have Kyler. You telling me Kyler Murray did more last year or is better than Carson Wentz? I just don't see it. I do not see it. I do not see it at all. That stuff got me.
I
I used to go
I think
ahead.
they use his injuries as like just like, oh, he made it to the playoffs and then he got hurt as kind of like something to use against him, which doesn't make sense.
That's
I
all.
don't know.
That's the only argument people ever have. It's always, oh, he's gonna get hurt. He's gonna get hurt. Well, let's go over some of the other guys that are on that list. We're gonna start with the Eagles players, and then we'll. I see people are starting to check in. What's up, y'all? Appreciate y'all. Drop some comments. But yeah, we'll go over some of the Eagles players that made the list. We'll see if you agree. Where they are. If they should have been higher. If they should have been lower. We'll start with Ertz. Ertz last year was at number 40. This year they have him at 85.
How? Like George Kittle made it to the top 10 players of everyone in the league. And you know what? He's a great player. But how are you gonna have him at in the top 10, but then have Ertz be all the way up there toward the
Exactly.
opposite spectrum of the whole list?
And the drop off is not that far, like you said. So that it makes no sense to me. We're gonna kind of blaze through that one a little, and that one's obvious. I feel like these next two, I'm gonna kind of ball them together. They are veterans, and I feel like they both got played, to be honest. So they have Jason Kelsey, obviously our center. Last year he was at 72, and he's at 94 this year. 94 for possibly a top three, maybe even a top two, top one, maybe depending on who you're talking to. Center in the league, so that's
Right.
crazy. And then you also have Fletcher Cox, the heart and soul of that defense, arguably one of the best defensive linemen in the game right now. At last year he was at 28. This year at 73. That's just insane to me. That's
Yeah.
just insane to me. Like it makes no sense to me at all. Like first of all, the drop off in play isn't that big. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Fletcher Cox didn't like have a terrible season or something. He battled. What's up, Philly girl? You know, he battled a little bit of injury and stuff, but other than that, it's not like he dropped off the face of the earth. So that made no sense to me. And then Jason Kelce, I think he speaks for himself. But how do you feel about those two?
I mean, when you have a guy that is either compared to or right behind Aaron Donald, and once again, Aaron Donald, what was he, number 2, or he was in the top 3 right
Top
there,
5, I believe. Yeah.
and then you have Fletcher Cox on the opposite spectrum. It doesn't make sense. Like there's that many players in between that are better that on the list that you're gonna put them on opposite sides. Just doesn't make sense to me. And then with Jason Kelce, and then I can get it. When it comes to offensive linemen, it gets tricky. People really don't either pay attention or value them as high when it comes to like rating players and stuff.
Yeah.
When everyone knows offensive line is the heart and soul and the key to any successful offense or anything like that.
It's
So
hard
I
to
can
quantify
see,
what they
yeah,
do, you know.
I can see how Kelsey's also kind of quiet. And I mean, the only time he was really loud is during the Super Bowl parade when he was going
Heck yeah.
crazy.
Good
But
timing.
typically he's pretty quiet. He's the opposite of his brother. So I can see how he kind of dropped back, but at least he was recognized to be in the top 100.
Definitely. Also, they left my boy Lane Johnson out, so I don't know how that happens at all. Like he's the best right tackle. Maybe you can make an argument for Schwartz. I mean, I can't, but maybe you can. You know what I'm saying? But Lane Johnson being left out made no sense. What also made no sense to kind of keep it on the offensive line. And this maybe you know, as an Eagles fan, maybe I shouldn't say this, but to have Brandon Brooks on the list when he's not going to play all of next year, because that's what, to me at least, the list means is going to be the best players going into next year, right? So Brandon Brooks isn't going to play, but you put him on the list and you don't put Lane Johnson on the list, or you don't
Right.
put Carson Wentz on the list. Like it just like the thought process behind this. I feel like they had a couple of like shots before they interviewed these people,
Right.
and they just came up with the dumbest stuff they possibly can. You know, like it makes no sense. But also, let's go over the new guy, my boy Darius Slay. Last year, he didn't make too much of a drop off, and I have said in my videos before, he did have kind of a drop off in play that last year. You could blame it on a bunch of different things, but the numbers went down. Last year he was 86 on the list. This year he's 92. So not a huge drop. I don't think it's too crazy.
Right.
What do you think about Miles? Do you think Miles should have made the list?
I mean, Miles had similar stats to Josh Jacobs, and Miles didn't even start all year. But at the end of the day, I think that people are sleeping on Miles Sanders. They don't really recognize him as being like someone that can be a top dog running back in the league. I think people just see him as that like kind of shifty receiving back more than anything. So hopefully this year he can quote unquote shut up the haters and really kick it this year.
Washington football team is coming. Watch out. The footballers are coming. The footballers are coming.
Hey, man, I'd be a little bit upset if we lost to the Washington football team in the opening day.
If we lose to a team that doesn't have a mascot to celebrate it, I'm not watching that game. I'm going to be so upset. Now that we got people coming in and everything, shout out to Cameron for sharing the stream. Appreciate you. Let's talk about, I don't know if you saw Matt Stafford got COVID.
Yeah,
He's on the COVID injury reserve list, whatever it's called. So that's Stafford. That's Lane Johnson. There's a couple of other people. Carson obviously opted to play, and he did do a live stream saying that he's going to be playing this year. What do you think? And I'll get into it after you say your piece. What do you think it's going to do to the NFL seeing big names like Matt Stafford, Lane Johnson getting the disease or getting the virus, whatever you want to say? And do you think it's going to halt the season in any way?
I mean, having those big names definitely is it hurts a little bit, but I mean, thankfully, it's only been just a couple so far, and they seem pretty optimistic and coming back and wanting to come back and all that. So, I mean, you have the majority of the league. This is what they get paid. Like, this is where all their revenues from. They're not getting extra money from commercials or sponsorships or anything like that. And so I can see that most of the league still wanting to play and all that because they need to get paid. But at the end of the day, if things kind of happen like how it happened in baseball with the Marlins or something, with the whole team needing to be shut down, it it could end pretty abruptly, pretty early in the season or in the middle of the season, or maybe toward the end of the season they go on the hiatus, kind of like how basketball did, and then
Yeah.
come back at a later time and finish off the season and playoffs. I mean, it's going to be tricky. I mean, you're looking at people's health, and then you have to also realize that it's way bigger than basketball, so you can't shove everyone into a bubble. And even if you try to pinpoint different cities around the country, it's still tough because of travel. You're still going to see your family. Your family might see a friend who might get sick, who got you sick. So, I mean, it's definitely super tricky and something that we're just going to have to wait and see, man. What are your thoughts on
And
that?
I mean, we always see like the comments and on the videos or comments on, Instagram, like now we have a starting backup. So now we don't look so crazy. So maybe, hopefully not, but maybe that was, they couldn't have saw it that far ahead, but hopefully I feel like it's going to be tricky because like when they do come back, how quickly can they come back? What's the actual, repercussions of them coming back? Do you have a higher chance of getting it again? Do you have a higher chance of spreading it or anything like that? If somebody does have it, there's so many questions that we can't answer. That either way, it's a risk. So, like you said, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be kind of unpredictable in a sense where at any given moment you could get that tweet or get that notification saying that so and so got what's up, Wise Sway. Um, you know, that somebody's out. So it's crazy. I love these names. People come up
Yeah,
with the best names.
that made me chuckle right there.
Yeah, but so
Houseway.
it really comes down to what the doctors can do. There's not a lot of information out, obviously, on anything. So I feel like I hate to say it, I feel like we're probably not going to have a season at some point. Like if it keeps being big names, it just, at some point, it just doesn't make any sense. They did come to that agreement where, they get like, I think 300,000 if they miss the season due to COVID and they get a stipend and everything. But that's pocket change. That's
Right.
pocket change. So it is what it is. It's going to be scary. It's definitely going to be scary. Let's go to something a little bit less scary. Let's talk about something a little bit happier, good times. But Jason Avant is joining the team again. As a coach. He's a intern is what his like official title, I guess you can say, is, but he is going to be coaching up our young wide receivers. I think there's nobody better for our team and for those young guys to be learning from than Jason Avant. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I know when you put that post out on the Instagram page not too long ago when he responded on it. I know you were
Oh
hyped
yeah,
for that, and
heck
then I
yeah, that's
tried
the
to chime in and try to get him in to get an interview with you, but then he responded to me. I was pretty hyped. So,
guy.
but outside of that, I mean, I'm excited for it. I mean, it's always cool seeing ex players come in, and you just never know. I mean, look at Deuce Staley. He came in, and he's been with the organization since. And he's been doing a hell of a job with the running back. So you never know. He comes in as an intern and then he helps coach up wide receivers, especially like JJ Arcega-Whiteside, who definitely needs that extra coaching because he was struggling a little bit last year. But it's exciting. Jason Avant was one of my favorite guys back in the day when he was on the team. And he was just like
Facts.
Mr. Reliable, catching the ball,
Facts.
running nice routes and everything. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's great. Like I said, I love that he's going to be on the squad and also I love it for people like Greg Ward. I feel like Greg Ward can learn a lot from him because he reminds me a lot of him. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's very good for people like Rager and other
Right.
guys like that. Hightower, Quez Watkins, but they're more speed guys. So I think he'll
Mm-hmm.
try to fine tune their technique. I don't think he'll really try to change much about them.
Right.
They have kind of clashing styles, but I think it'll be good for Jason Avant. I think it'll be good for our team, and it's gonna be fun. Maybe he'll suit up. Knowing our injury history, maybe he'll have to go hop on the field for us real quick. But I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see him out there yelling at people.
Right.
That's what I think is going to be the most exciting to see. Is going to be like his kind of coaching style, how he's going to act out there.
Right.
Big Mac says shave, Brandon. Mm. It's the
Hey,
COVID cut. He's got to get a
once
COVID cut.
everything clears up, I'll shave. It'll be like a fresh new day.
Now speaking of a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for when the reminiscing, speaking of while we're reminiscing and talking about old guys, let's talk about AB, Antonio Brown. He just got his suspension, 8 weeks. I've seen a lot of people, say, hey, we got to go get AB. And you guys let me know in the comments too. Do you think we should get AB? Is Antonio Brown? Yeah, I don't think so at all. I have to play devil's advocate. You know what I'm saying? I have to ask the question. I don't think any team should get him, to be honest. There probably will be, but especially with all this nostalgia. There we go. Appreciate you. See, that's why I love that guy. She's amazing. Because I definitely, that was the exact word I was trying to think about. Facts. No to AB. Yeah, we just don't need him. We just don't need him.
No.
Obviously, he's a great player, great talent, but the extra stuff, man, and then all the uncertainty in the offseason, I am so good.
Right.
I am so good on that. All right. I just had to ask that question. I just had to.
And I mean, Wentz does better with like the younger guys, anyways, that don't have like the biggest egos and where he can feel comfortable just kind of dishing the rock to different people and everything like that. So definitely don't need the diva to come in and ruin what we got going on in Philly.
Exactly. Just be where you got to be, and Wentz will find you, and you'll be good. That's all. That's all you got to do. It is what it is. What was I gonna say? Now, speaking of like the uncertainty in the offseason, we probably have the most certainty at coaching position this year in the NFC East, at least. But what do you think about the new guys that we did add? The Marquand Manuel, Aaron Moorhead, now Jason Avant. Them as a core, how do you think that's going to affect the young guys going ahead? Seeing as this is a draft that we have to hit. We have to hit this draft.
I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like when it comes to coaches, everything that they can do, they can still do virtually. They can communicate, they can go over plays, they can draw it on the whiteboard, they can discuss and everything still like a normal day. It's not like Wentz and the receivers or the running backs kind of getting into shape and really getting used to the offense, the tempo, or the defensive backs really getting blend together with Malcolm Jenkins not there or anything like that. So I think that kind of gives a benefit to coaches so they could keep talking and everything. I don't know if there's any regulations against that, like how the players and everything coaches, but I think the coaches can talk throughout the offseason and everything. So I don't really see a drop off there. Hopefully fresh new faces and ideas can really spark something new for us because it's been kind of stagnant the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Marquand Manuel brings. That's I think Aaron Moorhead will have a say here and there, but there's a lot of chefs in that kitchen, so that's going to be weird. But I think Marquand Manuel can, if he has a shot to become our defensive coordinator, if he does well with our cornerbacks, if we're being 100% honest. Because, Jim Schwartz is probably the safest coach. Simone's, I think she just, ran into something. So it is what it is. She's going to hop in here when she can, hopefully. But yeah, what was I saying? But yeah, Marquand Manuel, I think he's going to bring something different to this team. Let me see what. And Jim Schwartz, like I said, I think Jim Schwartz is probably the most unsafe coach, even though it seems nobody really talks about it, but like our defense hasn't been what it should be for a long time. And you can blame that for injuries or whatever it is. But even in the playoffs when we won the Super Bowl, outside of that Vikings game, our defense, it wasn't.
If Nick Foles didn't put those heroics in and threw it for all the yards and touchdowns he threw for it, Tom Brady had like 500 yards against our defense. So
exactly. All right, so hold on. Let's see what he said. Wise Way says, do y'all think bringing in Everson Griffin or Clowney would help with our young defense tackles? Because it seems like Fletch, Brandon Graham had to carry all the double teams last year. That's a very good point. I'll say this. I would not mind getting Everson Griffin. I'm kind of off of the Clowney train at this point. I just think the price that it would take to get him in is just a little bit too much. And there's too much uncertainty I would take Everson Griffin. Everson Griffin had 10 sacks last year. He's older, he's going to be cheaper, but I think he's a solid producer. And for what we need him for, I think he would be perfect. Does he help our younger defensive linemen? Does a rotation really help defensive linemen grow? That's the question that I think, is really the thing. It helps them be, more fresh.
Yeah.
That's really what we go for. But what do you think as far as that? So I say bring Everson Griffin, but
yeah, I mean, to kind of go on what what Wiseway was saying about the double teams. I mean, it didn't help that Malik Jackson last year was injured after the first game, and that would have been a nice rotation in to kind of give Fletcher Cox that break, or even to be next to him. And then in an interview with Jim Schwartz the other day, he was talking about how Malik Jackson can also play defensive end too. So I mean, having Malik Jackson, and then we got Hargrave. Those are two newer, or I won't say Malik Jackson's newer, but he is kind of new considering he only played one game last year. Having those two guys to join the defensive line with Derek Barnett, with Josh Sweat, I think they're gonna kill it this year. I think finally it's gonna get back to that beast of a defensive lineman, front seven, and our defensive backs won't have to try to cover the whole field for longer than need to be.
So you're saying don't take either of them? You're cool with what we got?
I mean, I'm cool with what we got. If we can get an Everson Griffin for cheap, then we can do it. I mean, we have saved a little bit of money with Goodwin opting out, but I don't necessarily think we absolutely need to go for that. I still think we may need a linebacker, but that's just me.
That's a good topic. We have what, Nate Gary, we got Duke Riley still, we got Camus should be back this year, right? Or did we let him go?
I have no idea.
I know we got Nate Gary. We got TJ Edwards. We have a young linebacker, and Davion Taylor. A lot of people are saying Davion Taylor is a steal. Brandon, what's your channel name? He doesn't have a channel. We're gonna get him one. Right now, he just kind of rocks out with me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, see, look at that. The people want it, man. The people want it. But yeah, no, I'm kind of worried about our linebacking core. But at the same time, we play a different type of defense. We don't really use our linebackers like a lot of teams do. We run a lot of nickel, a lot of passing coverages. So we might get away with it. It might, we might be all right. But it's gonna be nerve-wracking watching that.
Well, yeah, I guess you can have Kayvon Wallace move up into that Jenkins role, play a little bit of like the stronger safety up near like the linebackers, and then have Mills and McClure up top. So I mean, I can see how they're gonna work it out, try to play more speed on the field. So
facts, yeah.
But needless to say, I don't think we absolutely need either of those players. It would help. It would be nice. It'd be like a present, but it's not something that I'm dying for.
I think we're at like 20 million right now. Like cap space left. And then, hopefully we can, I'm trying to roll over as much possible because I know we are going to be in cap, a cap nightmare for a while. Howie is Howie, so I'm not too worried about it. But at the same time, every dollar really counts at this point. We're like 50 to like $70 million in debt next year. Which is
that doesn't even
crazy.
Sound good.
It's like I don't even know how that happens. There's a lot of people kind of coming off of the book, so to speak, next year. Like probably Deshaun Jackson. Alshon's supposed to get like 18 million next year. I know once, it's still, yeah, very true, very true. But I know Carson is still new with his contract, but maybe he gives us a little bit of money back. I think Malik Jackson is probably either outright cut or he gives us something back because he only played like a couple of snaps last year. Right. It's not his fault. Don't get me wrong, but it's not ours either. So you got paid that whole year. Let us get something back. But there's a lot of different ways that he can go about it and kind of get some money back. Hopefully he does. So how do you feel about McCoy going to the Bucs?
I mean, I was talking in one of my group chats with one of my buddies that's a Bucs fan. I was low key a little jealous, not because of like needing him to carry the load or to like really do much. I was just kind of digging the whole having Jackson, having McCoy, nostalgia feeling, and then him just kind of like helping Sanders really develop into that kind of, because I see the similarities there with like receiving and all that. I wouldn't say McCoy teach him how to hold the ball. With McCoy, he always carrying it out here when he's running the ball.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. He just holds it like Michael Vick used to.
but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm not too worried about it. But I mean, good for the Bucks. They do need some help at running back. I know that's one of their weaker points on their offense. So maybe he'll help Ronald Jones over there and develop him. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
it just sucked. Like you said, it was nostalgic. Now I know the word. But but no, it sucks seeing him in a different uniform. I definitely
yeah,
want him to go to Philly, just to, even as a fan, just go chill there.
right, yeah.
But he's in Tampa, so maybe I'll see him one day. Let's answer this question real quick. Philly girl, Philly girl, Philly girl, Philly girl. I can't say names. Said, what are your thoughts about the amount of money Wentz is getting? Seriously, because it makes me nervous. I'll let you start this one off. What are your thoughts?
I mean, we've talked about this, and it's just like, yeah, he's gonna end up getting a lot of money. That's for sure. I mean, he's a quarterback. Starting quarterbacks in the league, they get a lot of money. But in retrospect, you got to realize he ain't getting Mahomes money. So it's kind of like how much Wentz is going to get in a couple years is going to be probably the average at that point. So I'm not too worried about it.
Hey, I will say this: to play devil's advocate, I am worried as far as this. I wasn't so worried when it happened, looking forward, thinking that the cap is going to keep on rising, keep on rising. But if they do end up dropping the cap because of the COVID season or whatever it may be, maybe it is a bad deal. Obviously, it's
Well,
not. It's still not a Mahomes
that's
deal. But
if the cap gets dropped. I mean, there's
even
going
if
to
it
be so
stays the
many
same,
legal stuff. There's going to be so many legal stuff. I don't
true,
know if they can
true.
just do that, but
Even if it stays the same, though, it's still kind of nerve wracking. And if he doesn't stay healthy, then you're still paying him the money.
If he doesn't stay,
That's the thing. That's the biggest thing I think with Carson Wentz. It sucks because it's the biggest thing people say against us.
right.
Let's see. She says, "So do you think the logic was behind drafting a quarterback in the second round because there was some? Do you think the logic was behind drafting? So what do I think was the? Yeah, I can't read, bro. I'm terrible.
It's
But
okay. We'll get you back in school.
exactly right. I've been out too long. But I think we drafted Jalen Hurts honestly. I think they really do think that we're a quarterback factory and that we can be able to trade him for a better value down the road, whether that be next year or the year after. I don't think he was drafted with the sole intent to replace Wentz.
I wouldn't
Obviously,
say
it's
replace, but
obviously it's an option. He's there if Wentz does go down. Hopefully, Jalen Hurts is then ready to step in. But
all right.
you can say that about a fifth round quarterback. We were saying that about Clayton Thorson last year. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see.
I hope he's better than Clayton Thorson, but
I think everybody.
I mean,
does.
at the end of the day, you got to also realize that it's a business and that on Wentz's record, the dude's been injured every year essentially. I mean, yeah, he made it all the way last year, but then he was hurt in the playoffs. And then we have Nate Sudfeld, and one time we needed him, he wasn't even available. He was hurt.
Right.
So it's just like, yeah, maybe we think we're the quarterback factory, but at the same time, we do need that insurance plan for hopefully not the inevitable future, but hopefully Wentz stays healthy this year and can really.
Now, last thing I want to go over, unless we get some more questions, obviously, I want to. Have you been watching any of the basketball games lately?
I briefly watched a little bit of like the Clippers and Lakers the other day.
Okay, so did you see any of the like cardboard cutouts or the generated fans that they have?
I saw the generated fans.
Yeah,
and I saw the cardboard cutouts in baseball.
So my question is, how do you think that they will or should they do that in the NFL?
I think with the basketball, it's actually kind of cool because even with the generated fans and the noise, at least it's still like in a smaller arena. If you try to do that in a football arena, it's just so much outdoor noise and it's smaller. Maybe like in Seattle where it's indoor stadium, or in those indoor stadiums like in New Orleans or Atlanta, that they can get away with that. But like I'm just picturing, I've been to Lincoln Financial Field and I don't see how it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird.
I want to see it though. I want to see I want to see Kevin Hart as like a GIF. You know what I'm saying? I want to see all that. Funny. They got to give us something, especially in football. Football is a dope sport, but it's not a fast paced sport. You know what I'm saying? You're not like continuously going at high speeds, like say soccer, or well, even
Right.
that's not high speed, but you
There's
know what I
always
mean.
commercials. There's always timeout
Exactly.
breaks.
We need
Sometimes they zoom
something.
in on the crowd and people doing crazy stuff, and it's
We might have to
hilarious.
look into like how much a commercial is. It might be, cheap now because I know it's gonna be probably even more expensive because everybody's
Oh
home.
yeah, everyone's watching. Yeah,
Oh
it's good.
God, that's it's gonna be a fun year. Hopefully it happens. I don't
Right.
know, man. But I don't know. I think we let's see what people are saying. They're talking about filling to half capacity and no. I would be down with that. I would be cool with that. Half capacity. I wonder how much and no season tickets. I wonder how much the tickets would be.
A
They're
lot.
probably 50% more, maybe.
Yeah. I'll sit on my couch.
Yeah,
I'll watch it on
exactly. That's
TV.
it's gonna be expensive. We got some people in here. We got like 8 people in here right now. That's what's up. Say what up. Say what up.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
9 people. It's like I want to nobody want to talk though. But yeah, do you got anything? You got anything on your mind about the football season, basketball season?
I mean, I'm just kind of hoping it happens in that, like, especially like for fantasy football purposes. I don't know how many leagues you're in or what you're doing, but I know we've been talking about in one of my leagues is that to kind of hold everyone off on paying right away. So like if the season does end like in the fifth week of the season, then it'll
Nice.
just be a wash, and then it'll just be like whatever. Or people are saying, well, if it's the fifth week, whoever's in first place should just take all the money. Now, I don't know if I agree with that or not, just because some people draft certain ways to live off the waiver wire and like kind of rotate people in and stuff. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and
I
then
mean, the waiver wire would probably be crazy this year too. You would have to like add, like I'm in one franchise. Again, I show you all the time because I'm so proud of that team. But I wouldn't mind going through the season and let's do it. I feel bad for season ticket holders. Those tickets, facts, gonna have fans at the link. I hope so. I don't know how expensive it's gonna be, but I hope I'm one of those fans. That's all I want to know. That's all
I
I
don't know.
say.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought I saw something where he said that there's gonna be no fans in Philly this year. I know other
I thought I
stadiums talked
saw it,
about
but
that.
they could be changing it. They could definitely be changing it.
I don't know.
They definitely could be changing it. I mean, I hope so. I hope people can go, and I hope I can go. Like I said, I just want to go.
I
I'm
mean,
in Tampa, so I
the
know I'm
crowd
not going to see a
noise,
game
the
at
crowd
home.
noise plays a factor in all that. That's why they call it that 12th man in Seattle. Like it
And
plays a factor.
we travel well. So if you're not letting 50% of people into certain places, we gonna probably be a good like 40% of that 50%. So
Bro,
it is what it is.
I was at the Eagles Giants game at the end of last year, where it's like one of those do or die games before the playoffs, and I could every time something good happened for the Eagles, the stadium erupted. Like it didn't even sound like the Giants stadium.
Facts.
It was overrun by Eagles fans, and it was awesome.
You could see it in LA. Remember when we played the Rams and they were like, it felt like we were playing in freaking what's it called, Arizona bound this year. Yeah, hopefully. But they said that it sounded like they were playing in Philly because there were so many Philly
Yeah.
fans in LA. We just travel well. We're one of we're one of the best traveling teams in the NFL. I feel like
For
that would be
real.
dope. Arizona is definitely gonna be the wave. It's in December too. I heard that it gets cold out there. I didn't know that it got cold in Arizona at all. Rams
Yeah.
game looked and sounded like a home game. Facts. We took over. We take over a lot of places. We do it in Dallas. We do it everywhere we go, really.
Right.
Like it's hard to keep a Eagles fan out of a stadium, man. We're gonna find a way in there. I hope we have a fantasy year because that's like you said, that's how I make some money, you know what I'm saying? And I have a nasty team. So, like I'm trying to win some money,
I
trying
hear
to get
that.
some, you know what I'm saying? But hopefully we do. I feel like unless somebody like a Patrick Mahomes or a Lamar Jackson or big. I mean, Matt Stafford's a big name,
Right.
but he's not. At this point in his career, I don't feel like he's the premier or a face of the league or anything like that. So
Right.
if you have somebody like that, it's gonna be a wrap. Like they're gonna just be like, never mind. Lamar Jackson gets sick, God forbid. They're gonna be like, let's just we'll call it here and we'll
We'll
move
call it
on.
here.
Seriously, I don't even. Do you even have a team in basketball? Are you even a fan of basketball like that?
No, I mean, no, not really. I root for like the underdog in the playoffs. I was gonna try to be a Knicks fan, and then everything kind of fell through with the whole Zion thing. So it's just like, all right, never mind. I guess I won't start now.
Yeah,
And if I try to hop on any team now, it's just like, well, I'm not gonna choose a team that's always bad. But then if I choose a good team, I'm a bandwagon. So it's just like,
facts.
I'm just gonna stay away and just root and just watch for the fun of it.
Shout out to everybody that is sharing the stream. I appreciate you guys. If you can't comment on Facebook, hop over to the YouTube and just drop some comments, say what up. But I appreciate y'all. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, my bad. I just saw another share, so had to say what up.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no, I'm excited. I just want some type of sport, something. I know it's like very, selfish. Probably
Right.
it is what it is. But like even baseball, I think like baseball did it right for a little while, and then it just kind of fell off the tracks because Florida doesn't know how to act sometimes. Um, but it's. I just want to see some type of sports because I know we're gonna probably be stuck home for the rest of the year, at
Probably.
least. You know what I'm saying? Which sucks, but it is what it is, man. I'm trying to think of, like as far as the playoffs, you already told you. As far as the NBA, I know I'm a Nets fan. We suck. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Yankees though. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to
Hey.
the Red Sox just being terrible. And the Phillies
Yeah,
looking like,
Yankees just beat the Red Sox, right?
yeah, they just beat them again. That's two. That's two.
That's
Yeah,
two.
they trash, man. They are terrible, bro. But yeah, man. All right, I think we're gonna end it up on this note. I appreciate everybody that hopped in. Go over to the YouTube. If you are new, please subscribe, show love. We'll try and do this again next Sunday. Hopefully, we can get Simone up in here. And then, yeah, you know what it is. It's Five is flying. We out here. You know what I'm saying? Say bye to them, Brandon.
Later, guys.
All right, y'all. Peace.